All right, so here's our second lesson on conjoiners. And in this one, we're going to do subordinating conjunctions. And this one's going to be tough. Every once in a while, a middle school English teacher will go through subordinating conjunctions. But it's pretty advanced stuff for middle school kids. And like I said, this is going to be a tough lesson. Be patient. Stay with me. I'm going to wrap all this up. I'm just going to do a lesson where I just break down prepositional phrases and conjunctions, conjoiners more generally for you guys, just so you can get some more looks. This stuff is tough, but you can do it. Stay with me. Focus. The nice thing about subordinating conjunctions is there aren't many of them, but it's looking at the larger sentence structure. So get tough and let's go to war, right? And so subordinating conjunctions set up subordinate clauses. So we're going to look at clauses here, which are a form of dependent clauses. And for the rest of this speech review, the term dependent clause will be used for simplicity. There are a few different types of dependent clauses, but really if a high school freshman or sophomore could tell me something is a dependent clause, I wouldn't worry about which kind of dependent clause it is. That's pretty intense, and I don't even know that it's necessary knowledge, but dependent clause, definitely necessary knowledge. All right, so like I said, let's look at phrases and clauses, right? Phrases are sub-sentence elements that have a subject, predicate, or object, but are missing a subject, predicate, or object. And under no circumstance can a phrase be a complete sentence on its own. Okay, we know about phrases from prepositional phrases. So if I say, I am at Todd Beamer High School, right, the prepositional phrase here, at Todd Beamer High School is not a complete sentence. There is no way on earth. I can't walk up to you in a hallway and say, at Todd Beamer High School. You're going to look at me and go, what? I don't understand. It was an incomplete sentence, incomplete thought. Walk up to somebody in a shopping mall and go, at Todd Beamer High School. It's meaningless, right? So phrases are important. In this case, this tells where I am. So it's important to modify where I am, but it's not meaningful by itself. It's just a modifier. Right? Clauses have a subject and a predicate and an object if it is necessary. Okay? And there are two types of clauses, right? Independent clauses, which can stand alone as complete sentences. For example, I threw the ball is an independent clause. I could walk up to you in a shopping mall and say, I threw the ball, and you'd know what I meant. You might not know why I said that to you, and it might seem pointless that I said it to you, but you would at least have a clear sentence, a clear sense of what I did. And sometimes sentences are made up of two independent clauses. And we looked at this with the coordinating conjunctions lesson. Right? We've got a comma but. I threw the ball. That's a complete sentence. I could walk up to you and say, I threw the ball, period. Or I could say, you did not catch it. That's a complete sentence too. I could say, you did not catch it. So two independent clauses joined with the comma and the conjunction. You see how this is starting to come together. Dependent clauses cannot stand alone. Right? They are dependent. They depend on other things in order to exist. Dependent clauses are kind of like kids. Right? I know you guys like to think you're independent, but you cannot live without your parents. You can't pay your bills. You can't feed yourself. You are dependent on your parents. The independent clauses are the parents. They can live by themselves if they want to. Your mom might think she can live without you, but she could survive without you. Sorry to say that, but it's true. Right? Dependent clauses cannot stand alone as complete sentences, but if the subordinating conjunction is dropped from a dependent clause, it can become an independent clause. Right? So you say, you dropped the ball because I threw it too low. So here's an independent clause. You dropped the ball. Because I threw it too low is a dependent clause, but look, if I took out the subordinating conjunction and said I threw it too low, that could be a complete sentence. That could be an independent clause. Okay, so again, this one is independent clause and then a dependent clause. Again, stay with me. I know I'm going very fast. I'm going to do a special bonus breakdown lesson after all this is done so you can see how all this is working. So just be patient, follow along. Right? And like I said earlier in the lesson, there really aren't that many subordinating conjunctions. So go ahead and write this down. And I'll pause and take a moment. I know it's annoying. Write these down. Okay, and here we are, we're back, right? You wrote those all down, right? Good, let's move on. Okay. So here are some sentences with subordinating conjunctions. I have loved her since we were in the 8th grade. Now, since is corny. Here's our subordinating conjunction right here. Right? Here's an independent clause. I can say I have loved her, period. I can say we were in the 8th grade, that would be an independent clause, but because it has the subordinating conjunction, here's our dependent clause. Okay? Same thing here. Here's another subordinating conjunction, when I awoke. I heard rain on the roof is an independent clause, it's a complete sentence. Right? But when I awoke could not stand by itself. Right? If I came up to you and said, when I awoke, period, you'd go, what? But if you say, I heard rain on the roof, you might ask me when, but you would understand what I meant. Right? Same thing here, whether or not. It's my subordinating conjunction. So there's my dependent clause. Notice if I start with a subordinating conjunction, I need a comma right there. We're going to talk about that. Talk about that a lot. Freshmen mess that up. Sophomores mess that up. Juniors mess that up. Seniors start to get it. You're going to get this, right? Grammar is important. There's our independent clause, right? You will understand grammar only if you study it, right? So here's our subordinating conjunction. That sets up the dependent clause. And it's actually only if. Right? Here's an independent clause, right? You will understand grammar. You will understand grammar. You can understand grammar. And you want to, because you want to write and speak well. Right? There you go. All right, and here's a little thing that's, this blows freshmen's minds. Absolutely knocks freshmen out of the park. You can start a sentence with because. Yes, even you can start a sentence with because, but if you do, you must use a comma between the dependent and independent clauses, and you need an independent clause. Right? I remember being told as a 3rd grader, you were probably told as a 3rd grader, do not start sentences with because. Because here's what happens. You'll ask a 3rd grader a question, and they'll write down, because I'm a boy, period. A 3rd grader will do that all day long. So 3rd grade teachers will say you cannot start a sentence with with because. I'm a boy. Okay? But you can do it, right? Because you're in high school now. You're ready for this. You're ready to, well, you're not ready to drive if you're a freshman, and some of you sophomores aren't ready to drive either. Some of you seniors aren't ready to drive either, but you are ready to start a sentence with because. Right? Because here's our subordinating conjunction. That sets up a dependent clause. Here it is. I've got the comma. Oh, please, Lord, let them put the comma in. And then we have an independent clause. Right? We'll go out for donuts instead. Could stand on its own. Okay? So, yes, by all means, start sentences with because all day long. Please, please, please give me the comma and then the independent clause. Or else, I don't know. Or else you're writing like a 3rd grader. There you go. At least you're writing like a 3rd grader. All right, so let's look at some examples. Always nice to break it down. You have in your notes the list of subordinating conjunctions. You have in the list you have in your notes the list of subordinating conjunctions. Go find them. Ready? Yes, go circle them now. Okay, did you circle all of them? Did you find them? Let's look at them. Ready? Let's see how you did. There's one. There's another one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, we got 2 in that sentence. Very nice. Oh, there it is. Oh, there's one. Good. All right. Subordinating conjunctions. We got them. Let's keep going, though. Since the Broncos won the Super Bowl, there's a dependent clause. Here's an independent clause. And this is a true story. I really liked the Broncos when I was a kid. Don't hold it against me. I'm still not a Seahawks fan, though. I know. I'm not supposed to admit that. Comma. Yes, the beautiful comma at the end of the dependent clause. Here it is. Even though he's mean, he's still my favorite teacher. There's an independent clause. Because I love science. Here's another dependent clause. Okay, you can have two dependent clauses in a sentence. Right, comma, ding. English teachers are happy. Right, I want to stuff a dead squirrel in your mouth. There's the independent clause. When you make that sound, or when you give me grammar lessons. Mr. Brayman, when you give me grammar lessons, I want to stuff a dead squirrel in your mouth. I want to stuff a dead squirrel in your mouth whenever you make that sound. Here's my dependent clause. And that sound is grammar lessons, Mr. Brayman. There we go. Independent clause. Okay, got it? See? Easy. All you got to do is circle those subordinating conjunctions. All right. And so like I said, we'll look more at these in our special bonus breakdown lesson at the end, but that's it for today. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.